I'm an old man now. My hands shake a little when I hold my coffee. And my mornings start earlier than they need to. The house is quiet. Not the peaceful kind. The permanent kind. Some nights, when the world slows down enough, I hear her voice again. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just clear. She said it like she already knew. I wouldn't understand it yet. My wife was never the kind of woman who wasted words. If something needed to be said, she believed it would find the right moment. And if it didn't, maybe it wasn't meant to be said at all. I was different. I filled rooms with plans, worries, responsibilities. She filled them with meaning. We were married for 42 years. 42 years filled with love, fights, laughter, and silence. People used to say we were solid. Stable. The kind of couple that made marriage look simple. What they didn't see was how often I confused presence with provision. How often I thought love meant carrying weight instead of sharing it. I worked. I provided. I stayed strong. And I thought that was enough. I remember the first time she got sick. It was subtle at first. A cough she didn't mention. A tired smile she tried to hide behind. We both pretended it was nothing. Just exhaustion, the doctor said. Stress. Life catching up. I nodded like I always did. Already calculating schedules, responsibilities. Things I needed to handle. She smiled, squeezed my hand, and said she was fine. She wasn't. But she never pushed me to see it either. That was her way. Letting people arrive at the truth on their own. Even if it took too long. The hospital room had a smell you never forget. Clean, but heavy. Like hope mixed with fear. Machines hummed softly, marking time in beeps and numbers. I sat beside her bed every day. Laptop open, phone buzzing. Trying to manage a life that was slowly slipping out of my control. She watched me. More than she watched the TV. I could feel her looking at me. Even when my back was turned. I remember little moments. The way she laughed when I made the wrong coffee. The way her hand fit in mine perfectly. The quiet evenings on the porch. Watching the sunset. And pretending we didn't notice how fast life was slipping away. One afternoon, she reached for my hand. Her grip was weaker, but her eyes were steady. "You're still running," she said. I laughed. Told her someone had to. Told her things don't stop. Just because life gets difficult. She nodded. She always nodded. Before saying something that would stay with me. A week before she died. The doctor left the room quietly. That's how you know. The truth is coming. She asked me to sit closer. Not because she needed help. But because she wanted to be heard. She didn't talk about fear. She didn't talk about pain. She talked about me. You've spent your whole life being strong for everyone else. I told her that's what I was supposed to do. She smiled. Not the happy kind, the understanding kind. Then she said the sentence I didn't understand until years later. When I'm gone, don't keep living. Like I'm still watching you survive. At the time, I thought she meant grief. I thought she was telling me not to stay stuck in sadness. Not to let loss ruin my life. I promised her I'd be okay. I promised her I'd stay busy. I promised her I'd keep moving forward. She didn't correct me. She just looked at me. Like someone who knows the ending of a story you're still reading. She died 3 days later. Quietly. No final speech. No dramatic moment. Just one long breath. And then nothing. The room felt smaller after that. Like something essential had been removed from the air. People told me I was handling it well. I went back to work. I kept my routines. I stayed strong. Exactly the way I always had. Years passed. The house stayed quiet. The world moved on. I aged. And every now and then, that sentence came back to me. Don't keep living. Like I'm still watching you survive. I thought I understood it. I didn't. Because surviving was all I knew how to do. It wasn't until one ordinary night, years later, sitting alone at the kitchen table, staring at nothing, that it finally hit me. She wasn't warning me about grief. She was warning me about myself. About the way I mistake endurance for life. About the way I hide inside responsibility. About the way I avoid happiness. Because it feels unfamiliar. She knew that once she was gone, I'd turn survival into a prison. And she was right. Understanding that truth broke something open inside me. Because once you realize you've been surviving instead of living, you can't ignore the question that follows. What do you do with the time you have left? And more importantly, what mistake did I make while she was alive that made her say those words in the first place? I remember sitting on the porch one evening, watching the stars come out slowly, thinking about all the tiny moments I ignored. Her laugh, her complaints, her wishes, the way she wanted me to see life, instead of just managing it. The guilt hit me hard. It wasn't just grief. It was regret. A kind of regret that sits quietly inside your chest and grows heavier with every passing day. And when the truth finally settled, I realized I had to confront it. I had to face the one choice I never forgave myself for making.